Hello. Sorry for the delay. I didn't notice my microphone was muted. It's me, Miss Noir. I have zero excuses. Sorry for the long delay since the last installment in this series. Stuff's been going on. I don't know, long story. You can read a bit about it. I have a public blog on patreon.com. Yeah, so no preamble this time because I just want to get into it. I want to do... Basically, we just need to do grinding. That's where we're at now because chaos whipped our asses. And honestly, it's been bugging me. It's been gnawing at the corners of my psyche the entire time since. So yeah, no flash, no background music, none of that. If I had a better setup, I probably would have taken the time to secure some fully copyright-free music that I like, because you know me, I'm a little particular about music. But yeah, I haven't done that. My throat's been bothering me, so I might clear my throat a little more frequently than usual. I do need to check the volume here. How loud is this? I'm not hearing anything, are you? We're plugged in? Oh, we're not plugged in. Ugh, never mind. So silly. Alright, now I'm plugged in. I'm still not hearing anything. System might be lagging. Computer's been giving me a little more trouble than usual. So even though I just did a power cycle, it is like that right now. Chat highlights on chat. Okay. Ah, there we go. That is very loud in my ears. Goodness gracious. And how is it on your end? Doesn't seem so bad. Now I'm going to open the Twitch stream on my phone with my headphones plugged in. Make sure I turn off any sound normalization. Normalizer's off. Good. Alright. Show me... How do I go to my... Oh, this watch button? No? My channel? There we go. Yeah. Huh, there's a lot of noise in the background. Where's that coming from? Jeez Louise, what is that? I'm checking my filters. No, it's all the same. It's all how I used to have it. Alright, so how does it sound compared to me? That's really quiet. Check, 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 check. Do 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 do. Weird. I barely hear it. I don't know why. I don't know why that's happening. Very strange. I don't know why the sound is so awful. It's like the filters aren't working at all. Okay, limiter, noise suppression, gain, and noise gate. But everything sounds like there's a toilet endlessly emptying somewhere. How's that sound on my voice now? Not good. Here's the question, is this actually changing the volume? Check, check, 1, 2. It is not. Okay, so the speaker volume I set has no weight. It does have some impact. Check. Oh, I came off the screen, my bad. Check, check, 1, 2. Yeah, it's all the same. Interesting. So, just shitty... shitty audio, I guess. I don't know why. I don't know how to make the Nintendo sound better, basically. Something happened in my system that I have no explanation for. Sometime in the last 6 months, where suddenly just the audio does strange things. How do I describe strange things? Well, like for instance, I'll go to stream on my Discord server and just play some Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, just to have fun. And all the audio was coming out of the headphone jack in my laptop and then out of my external speaker setup. But then as soon as I start streaming on Discord, and one of my friends or one of my server members jumps into the voice channel, the audio will just cut and switch to the onboard speakers on the laptop, which sucks because that's, very close to the microphone and stuff. So, Hail Eris, my life is one great big joke. We did actually use a save state last time because I had to get going. So yeah. The fuck? Oh no, yeah, that's right. Okay. So yeah, we go down here, even though it looks like we've gone up. This game... What the hell? I don't even know where... It doesn't matter, because we're just grinding. We're really just here to grind. because we need levels and we need money. So yeah, we're doing that, I guess. Don't know what we're doing, in all honesty. I forgot what all these things do. It's been so long. We need to get like 5 or 7 levels at least before we even try to fight chaos. And we're going to take all that money. Oh yeah, there's documentation I should open up. That's right. LIPS. Did I put it in the patched games? Where did I put this? IPS patches? Yes. Here we go. So the equipment guide and magic guide. So, spell. Defender does invisible. Guide does ultimate beam. Don't know where that is. Yeah. Okay, Mage's one does Fire. Wizard Staff does Mind Blast. Black Robe and White Robe. Fey Mantle doesn't do anything. That's disappointing. Am I reading this right? Fey Mantle, where did you go? There you are. Nope, doesn't do anything. Whatever. No problems. Alright, so where are we going? What is all this? So we're progressing through the dungeon, basically to the point where Tiamat is, and then there's like the final place where you can get out before having to fight the final boss. And we're just gonna kind of grind on that floor until we can't grind no more, and then we're gonna leave. And we're gonna keep doing that. So yeah. Oh, it's snowing outside. It's very, very cold here in New England. Very, very cold. Oh, double healing staffs. That was a cute choice. So once we finish doing all the grinding that we need to do, then, you know, I guess we'll probably either consider some new strategies, because you can change your spell loadouts, and, that might be a good choice for going in to fight chaos, because oh, which by the way, in the canon of this stream, the final boss is not chaos. It claims to be chaos. It is the deceiver, the liar. It is strife, not chaos. Chaos and strife are not the same thing. Chaos is everything. Chaos is where freedom, creativity, synchronicity, liberation, and insight, and lots of wonderful things come from. The human mind separates these two things into order and disorder based on their own personal map or perceptual lens. We're also going to be trying to avoid spending any money, because if we have full money when we leave here, we will be able to buy a lot of stat boosting potions. And that would be good. Unfortunately, you can't use... There's not potions for every single kind of stat, which is too bad. But magic evasion certainly will be very good. Lots of other things will be good. Actually, I think I want to reverse that. Yeah, very good. When we do get to leave this place, I am probably going to save and restart just so we can bring up the combat speed to maximum. Because combat speed at maximum will be really helpful. It's not like the early game when every single action and every single round of combat is like important and I needed to pay attention to everything really closely. I've been reading a lot of Robert Anton Wilson. I'm a big Robert Anton Wilson fan. I've read somewhere in the vicinity of like 10 or 12 of his books. I've read Illuminatus 4 times. I finished rereading that a month or so ago. Maybe less, maybe more like 3 weeks. And then I read through Schrodinger's Cat. It was my second time reading Schrodinger's Cat. And now I'm reading Cosmic Trigger for the second time. That's, you know, later was called, oh. Look at this. Have I been here? Probably have. I really wish, I think I've said this before, but I really wish that the chests had a second sprite that just showed them open when there's nothing in them anymore. That would be great. They have that in Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Anyway, Schrodinger's Cat. Here's my unsolicited review of Schrodinger's Cat. First 2 books are really great. Although the narrative jumps around a lot, of course, because it is a semi-sequel to Illuminatus. It is fairly tightly, I would say, fairly tightly focused. The progression of it. It seems like there's a focus to what's happening in it and where it's going and what it's doing. And then you get to the third part of Schrodinger's Cat, and it just really felt like it got kind of dragged down in the weeds endlessly. It was getting kind of like dull. Or sort of disheartening. Like it felt like we were just kind of like the dog was chasing its own tail over and over and over. The ending is great. The big thing that needs to be said about Schrodinger's Cat is its depiction of a trans woman. And this book was published originally in 1979. So as far as anyone knows, Robert Anton Wilson was nothing but a cisgender heterosexual man. He's never given any indication. I don't get any vibes from him to the contrary, especially given all the mind expansion stuff that he did and how well he did with it. It would be really odd and unexpected. And yet, one of the main characters is a trans woman. And she is depicted, I would say, quite compassionately, really, overall, especially for the time. However, there is two major issues with the book in terms of if you are a more sensitive queer person in the modern day reading this book. There are things that may be mistaken as red flags. Whereas Robert Anton Wilson and also Timothy Leary, we have no reason to think that they were doing anything other than a good faith best to be inclusive and expansive. And that is the following. So, in Schrodinger's cat, there is just one trans woman. There's one character who's trans. And we only get her narrative of herself, how she sees herself. I mean, there are other ostensibly cisgender people. Some of them also queer. There are some gay cis men, and there are some bi or gay cis women in the book. But this is the only depiction of trans woman that we have in the book, and hers is the only narrative that we get. And her narrative of herself is that she was a man, completely and totally just, that's what it was, and she wanted to become a woman. Now, this is not in and of itself a bad thing. I'm not condemning this. I'm not canceling Robert Anton Wilson in the slightest. He's one of my favorite people who ever lived. He's had a great impact on me. He's helped me a great deal through many hardships. But hers is the only narrative of a trans person that we get. So you see, this trans narrative of I was the gender I was assigned and I wanted to become the opposite binary gender. There are trans people who that is their narrative or close to their narrative. For instance, Natalie Wynn, who I support, she has said that her narrative is that she was a boy, but she grew into a woman. And there's nothing invalid about that. You know, it's very important that we resist single narratives. In trans culture, I think, and how we present those things. Because that's just not how humans are, and it actually makes you more brittle and kind of easier to wedge and erode, because there are people whose narratives fall outside of those narratives. But this is the only narrative that we get. And the thing is, that's not the principal narrative of trans people by and large. I myself, my narrative, my best understanding of myself, my memories, and all the evidence that I have available indicates that I've always been a girl. I always wanted to be a girl. It was always very painful to me to be identified as anything other than that. Alright, we've been all through here. Cool. We can call it clear. That's good. I really should give Mari something else to deal damage with for a spell while we're doing all this, I think. And you'll find that most trans people, the majority, narrative fits that model. This issue is further somewhat complicated because the thing is, what's her name? Mary Margaret Wildblood is her name when she transitions. So for her experience, her inner narrative is very much the moment that she has sexual reassignment or gender confirmation or bottom surgery or however, she basically has a whole body, thing, gender, sexual reassignment, however you want to call it. Other people's frameworks are important to me, so. And that, to her, is this gateless gate that she passes through. Because, with Robert Anton Wilson, like, a lot of the stuff gets, held inside of this framework of occultism. Which is not bad, but, there's a lot of evolving that it needs. Because it just doesn't match a lot of people's lived experiences today. And that is a little bit problematic because she kind of exists as this demonstration, this depiction of this occult transformation, this like Gnostic idea of men becoming women and transforming their consciousness, which I'm obviously all in favor of consciousness transformation. It's very important. But that's just not, what it's like for a lot of trans people. For me, it was very complicated. There was, being a child and just feeling bad that I was identified as a boy, and a lot of pain at being held to those kinds of expectations. And then, as I grew into my preteen years and into my teenage, I was sort of building these layers, these sort of like hull panels around my center, the center of myself. This performance of maleness, which hurt, but also in a weird way felt secure because I knew how unacceptable it was to be trans in my society, keeping in mind I was born in the early 80s. My teen years were all through the 90s, not a great time to be a trans teenager. And that kind of festered through my 20s. Sort of trapped inside of all that. And I had growing anxiety and unhappiness and depression and dysfunction. Until there were enough formative experiences enough cracks in my egg that it finally started to break open. And I was about age 30 when I finally said to myself, I really am a trans woman. You know, I mean, gosh, all of the secret quote-unquote cross-dressing that I did from my preteen years all through my 20s, you know, finally starting to get to know trans people, reading about trans people online. One of the big cracks, I remember it was like 2011, and no, it's actually probably 2009. Yeah, closer to 2009. And I was just surfing the web, reading about stuff. I saw this thing about trans people, and they were calling everybody who wasn't trans cis. I was like, oh? And I read this, and they described it, and they said, well, a cisgender person is someone who identifies with the gender they are assigned at birth. And if you're not trans, then you're cis, and you're this. And I remember thinking, how dare you say that I'm that? It was very upsetting for some reason. Right? And then for me, I had a very long and very painful transition all through the 2010s. Very slow, made difficult by entrenched poverty and trauma, disconnection, narcissism and borderline personality, all of that stuff. And in a very real way, I'm still working on my transition, of course, but managed to pass through one of my own little gateless gates, one could say. And here we are today. You know, there was the point where I started HRT, there was the point where I started presenting female in public, and lots of little points, you know, trying it out just in the privacy of my home with my long-term partner. Not, you know, outside of a sexual context. I think that a big part of the reason why trans women from my generation, from my time, their gender presentation came through a lot in sexual times is because when you're being sexual, you want to be yourself, you know? That's where the best pleasure and connection comes from. And, you know, a lot of sexual pleasure comes from a very deep, instinctive place. And so those instinctive drives, like pursuing your gender that's been repressed, you know, a lot of that repression kind of will fall away. And yeah, so oh, we've got Gaia Blade. We do have Gaia Blade. And what does Gaia Blade do? Gaia Blade does Chasm. Oh my. I think I will. Oh, no, that's the wrong button. Sorry. I think I will do this here. Yeah, I think that seems good. Inke's got the damn Masamune. I should probably just use Inke to attack more. For sure. I'm not sure where that portal leads. This whole place is so scary. I just don't want to fuck up and end up in a place where I can't come back from somehow. Oh, you know, I'll use save states. I'm just not that concerned anymore. Let's do Gaia Blade. So, you see there's quite a big difference in how it's depicted in Schrodinger's cat versus, you know, a very frequent kind of gradual evolution. And also, I don't want to spoil the ending, but I do want to say, you know, if one were inclined to approach the ending of Schrodinger's cat like that dang dad. Okay, so there's a left tuber. There's a YouTube content creator called That Dang Dad, and he put out a great video recently about reparative reading and social media, I think it's called. And he talks about a concept called paranoid reading, which is not, you know, paranoid in a clinical sense, just this sort of posture that one can take when they approach a work. And that's a posture of, okay, we're here to look for the good and see if we can sort of repair or recover what all else maybe needs improvement or more inclusivity, etc. Or are we going in there like this is an enemy and we're looking for the mask off moment? Always keep in mind Lindsay Ellis's video Mask Off. Very important stuff. So yeah, if you are reading Schrodinger's cat in that paranoid reading kind of approach, you may get to the end and say, oh, all of this stuff about trans people and all of that, all of it was here to get to the end for a joke. Because the very last thing that happens relates to Mary Margaret Wildblood's story arc. And it's understandable if one takes it poorly, because we as trans people are under attack. There are 370 bills designed to legislate us out of existence right now in the United States of America. It's not a good feel. It's pretty awful, because even just a few years ago, my feeling was that, you know, the pendulum was swinging in our favor. We were getting ahead. You know? But, okay. This place is fully amazed. Alright, so that just goes there and... oh my. I'm going to prioritize some of these. Actually, let's just remove damage dealers. And then we can focus on healing and stuff. And I gotta wonder how much long COVID and brain fog and the damage that it does to our ability to feel cognitive dissonance, to recognize that we're holding ideas that are mutually contradictive. Scourge is just not doing shit for me ever. It's very sad. Hope I've got plenty of poison defense. How much that long COVID effect is maybe making people susceptible to trans panic right now, because we are being weaponized by establishment politics, painted as a boogeyman to incite fear and get people to stay in these status quo kind of system, you know? I really just want to turn this volume down more because the sound is so grating. There we go. That's better. So it's understandable, but every indication we have is that Robert Anton Wilson would have approached trans people with love and care and openness and validation. He may have needed some how do I put this? A good, friendly, neutral, open, and semi-comprehensive conversation so that he could understand why our genders are so important to us. I'm not sure. Can't say for sure. But I think that if he had any opportunity to do so, he would have made time for that, because it was his policy to listen to new things, and the record shows that pretty clearly. So we're left with a book that, in its own way, it celebrates transness as best, I think, as he could understand it at the time. And again, 1979. Not a lot of positive trans depictions in media at that point. You know, there's Lady Godiva's Operation by the Velvet Underground. And so I struggle to think of anything else. The other trouble that comes in with reading Schrodinger's cat today, especially as a trans person or somebody who cares about trans issues. Oh boy, how do I explain this? So, Robert Anton Wilson was friends and peers and sort of contemporaries with Timothy Leary. And they both were trying to break out of these models of the norm. And obviously patriarchy was one of the first things that came after. I mean, the whole Discordian religion, which is a big part of how Robert Anton Wilson got launched out into this whole realm, how he got started, so to speak. And they started thinking about gender in expansive ways as well. And they unfortunately came up with some idioms that today we would find objectionable, I believe. Okay, what does Scourge do? I need to find out what Scourge actually does. Scourge is a level 5 death spell with a P element. Poison and petrify element, and it's just not doing anything ever against any enemies. It's like never, ever, ever working. I'm going to keep pounding on it just to see if I can get it to work. If it ever kills anyone, any of our enemies here. So, there's Bob and Tim, and they're trying to break people out of these old models of thought, right? And so they want to break out of the he-her paradigm. They want to talk about people in general. People that almost transcend gender. Now today, we would probably default to they-them. They-them is, I think, a very comfortable, gender-neutral, non-binary pronoun. I've never heard anyone have a problem or complain. You know, from genuinely within the trans community, I don't think, I'm not without extrapolating this to some kind of like, oh, you're trying to make everything they, them, or forcing, you know, sometimes in the trans community because of all the trauma, people feel like they're under attack, like you're trying to take away my its pronouns or my je pronouns, which nobody should do that, and I don't think there's a real movement to do that. There may be a few people who say that, and there's all kinds of stuff that could be happening there. They could be doing it because they need attention, essentially. Things like that happen. But today, generally, we use they, them, unless otherwise specified. And I use its pronouns sometimes, and I've been in relationships with people with neo-pronouns and xenogender, and I think those things are cool, I guess is the way to put that. Good things. But Timothy Leary decided at some point, him, a cis hetero man, I've never heard any indication of him being queer to any degree, certainly not gender queer. Wait, what was this thing up here? I need to go check that out. And so Timothy decided that he would institute and promote the use of a pronoun. I'm not sure how he pronounced it. It was mostly lexicographical, I think is the term he used. It was in print. And it was a capital S, capital H, lowercase e. I pronounce it Sahi. I'm not sure how they meant it to be pronounced. And to Timothy, this was sort of a gender transcendental pronoun. Something that would include all people. And this is, amongst other language in their work, both Tim and Bob, that would often say men and women, for instance, and then not say anything else, because I don't know how well they conceived of non-binary genders. in those times. Gaia Blade is doing nothing to anyone ever. I don't know if that's a coding problem or if I just don't understand the spell Scourge well enough. As it is, Razor Edge with what spell is it that Razor Edge casts? Razor Edge. Oh, no, Razor Edge casts Scourge. Gaia Blade casts Chasm. Sorry about that. So Chasm is a level 6 black magic spell that causes death with an E element. I guess it's Earth Elemental. Yeah. I don't know why Scourge is working better. Scourge even has a lower hit rate, 32 versus 40 for Chasm. Chasm hasn't been working at all for us. That's what it is. Sorry about that. My confusion. So yeah, and that happens in their writing because, you know, as advanced as they both were, they only got so far, I guess, at the time. You could say. And so at the time that Robert Anton Wilson was writing Schrodinger's Cat, this is in the late 70s, and a little bit into the very beginning of the 80s, as I understand it. Like 1980, 1981. He also decided to use this gender transcendental pronoun of Sihi, or however it's supposed to be pronounced. And that does... I don't believe they meant anything bad by it at all, but it just doesn't feel good reading it as a trans person today in 2023, to be honest. It's a little too close to certain slurs that were very popular when trans people were depicted in pornography at that time. Back there in the 70s and 80s, you know, the I'm just gonna say the word. So here's an incoming slur, content warning. I am a trans woman, so I have a right to say this. Yeah, the pronoun she is a little close to the term she-male, to be honest, which we don't like. It really depicts us falsely. There's nothing male about me at all. Yeah. Regardless of my genitals, whatever genitals I have, which are nobody's business but my intimate partners. Whatever genitals I have, they're a woman's genitals because I'm a woman. They're feminine. I've been on estrogen for 6.5 years. Do you have any idea what estrogen for 6.5 years does to people? Well, here's the thing. It'll be hard for you to find out because every study about the changes of HRT on trans people, none of them go past 3 years. They just didn't study it anymore. So that's why they say nothing happens after 3 years, because they stopped looking. But I'm pretty sure, even though I started HRT in my mid-30s, now more than 6 years into it, I'm pretty sure my pelvis has tilted. And these supposed experts, these like gender medicine, blah 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 people, W-path people, they'll say, oh, you know, gosh, if you're not in your early 20s, that pelvis, that's never gonna tilt, babe, sorry. I just, you know, there isn't profit under the current model. There's no financial profit motive to actually look at these things with open eyes. Did Scourge actually finally kill something? I think it might have actually killed one of those scorpions. I'd pay more close attention. Not Scourge, sorry, Chasm. Chasm. I'm gonna keep using it as long as I don't need to do anything else. As far as I'm concerned, Mari's job in this session is to cast Chasm with the Gaia Blade and occasionally heal if we need more healing than we're getting from Inke's healing rod. I just want to learn if this is going to do a damn thing. So yeah, that's a he pronoun. Don't like it. Oh wow, they did manage to stun Mari. I think that was the scorpion, or I didn't really notice. I'm not super concerned, I guess. So she has a ribbon, so I don't know why the hell she got stunned. I guess it got through. Ribbon is just added resistance, not immunity. Alright, we're gonna do a little save state here. It's nothing, it just looks neat, I guess. Okay, fine. No skin off my back. So that did make reading Schrodinger's cat a little more difficult, in all honesty. Especially because that use of the he pronoun is not universally consistent throughout the book. In fact, it often only showed up when Mary Margaret Wildblood was around. Which sucks, because the whole point is that she transitioned to a woman, right? So you would just use she. Capital S, lowercase h, lowercase e. So, that was unfortunate. And it should be known, it should be remarked upon, it should be shared, because one of the most important things I feel that can happen among the left is that more people read Robert Anton Wilson and discuss and build upon. It's really unfortunate right now. Some of the most prominent places that are talking about Bob and his contemporaries' work, for instance, there's a podcast called Chapel Perilous, and there's a lot that I like about them, but and I haven't listened to everything. I can actually tell you. Let's take a little pause here. Well, not a full pause. We'll set this up. Cool. Because on my podcatcher, I use Podbean. I always like every podcast that I listen to so that I remember what I've heard. Chapel Perilous. It's in here somewhere, isn't it? I didn't remove it from my subs. That would be very strange. I did not notice if Gaia Blade did anything. You have to let me know if it did. Here we go, live from Chapel Perilous. So yeah, I listened up through episode 12, where they reviewed Prometheus Rising. I listened to 12 episodes of this podcast. And granted, that was the first 12. They're up to like 70 something now. I do want to be fair. And fairness is very important to me. Where is it? Yeah, they're on episode 73. They haven't put out a lot in the last year. Since May, they've only had 2 episodes. And you know, those 12 episodes I listened to were all from the last quarter of 2020. It's been a little bit since then. People can learn a lot in 2 years, for sure. But it honestly felt a little Jordan Peterson-y to me. Kraken of Water. Honestly, just a tap, I think. Got that Masamune, right? We're saving our magic for as long as we can, just so that we can refill stuff as needed when we're doing our... That's barely any fucking damage, jeez. I don't know. Maybe they could crit and do that bonus damage. It's 4 damage. I guess that was a crit before. Yeah, it's not worth it. Just heal, I guess. Should probably give Mari and Inke, one of them the Mjolnir. Maybe Mari. Gaia's Blade is garbage. And Mage's Wand barely does any damage. Mjolnir probably hardly does any damage either. You know, I love the idea of having these items that you can cast spells with, but in practice they have very little functional use other than the healing staff and the robes. I don't know how well Blizzard is going to work on the element of water. I'm guessing not very well, so I haven't bothered. So yeah, Chapel Perilous, kind of Jordan Peterson-y. I did reach out to them on Twitter and just kind of told them a little bit about trans people, and they mentioned to me as I recall. Everything's really fuzzy. I've never even had COVID, to the best of my knowledge, and just the trauma of everything the last several years has really done a number on my memory. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, they seemed like they were somewhat open to things, but still a lot of like Jordan Peterson kind of adjacent, not the like worse stuff, just like the general attitude, you know. There's sort of this YouTube scene of like people who are really into Jungian psychology, which overlaps a great deal with those kinds of Peterson ideas. And I feel like Somebody needs to make Robert Anton Wilson stuff more accessible to trans people and to you know, the left in general. Mind Flare Town. They are running. Smart girls. Well, I hope I don't run into them too often, because that will not be very effective for my grinding purposes. I don't know of anywhere better to grind for XP than this floor, so that's what we're doing. I really don't think the Gaia Blade is going to do anything against air elementals, but, you know, whatever. There's nothing better to do with Mari right now, as far as I can tell. So why do I think Robert Anton Wilson stuff could be very important for the left? Well, what do we want? We want a more just world with more opportunity for everyone who comports themselves decently. You know, not exploiting others, not upholding oppressive systems. And Robert Anton Wilson stuff is all about that. That is like the core of the whole thing. And a lot of his work is about how to get there. Because you can't control other people. You can't force other people to be decent. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Oh, wait a minute. Level 50 is the cap? Yo, everybody, nobody told me level 50 is the cap. Level 50 is the cap. Okay, so we're just grinding for money at this point to get stat boosting potions. How in the world do you ever beat Chaos, the deceiver in this game? I have no idea. There's no clues in the game as far as I could tell. There's nothing about a weakness. He just keeps fucking healing himself. The only thing I can imagine is just boosting my stats as much as I can with potions. Okay, everybody, level 50 is the cap. There's nowhere to go from there. That sucks. That's pretty brutal. I have no idea how to defeat this enemy, the final boss. I really don't have any. Suddenly feel very tired. I don't even know of anyone who's beaten this ROM hack before. I don't like it. I'm running away. There's vampire lore. Oh! Oh, cool. Unable to escape. Neat. Neat. And that's what we were afraid of. Sever. Not good. Cake is probably going to take a death. Here it comes. Please fucking kill some of these bastards. No, it's like based in poison and petrification. I think they're immune. So yeah, I think we're gonna get our squad over to a safe spot. And do another safe state, and then I probably will do some research online. Let's see if anyone's ever beaten this game and what they say about it. Yep, there's Keika taking a death. Rough stuff, buddy. The equipment magic, it does nothing! Do we have Sever? No, man. Oh, the Power Glove. Yeah. Huh, one of the vampires was frozen. How did that happen? Something froze them in place, and I don't know what it was. Phoenix down. That's money. Let's use life instead. Oh, arise. Raise. Yeah, raise. And then I guess cure. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna end this stream and come right back, and we're gonna play something else. Probably do some Link to the Past randomizer. Hack. Yeah, yep. Which one will this be? How many? It's going to be a map sanity. We're going to do that. 1, 2, TPR. And run number 3 or 4. La, 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 la. Oh, number 5 we did. Yeah, so this is number 6. 6. We're going to do a map sanity, which is not key sanity. I've tried key sanity a bit and could not hack that 1 iota. So yeah, we're going to be right back with that.